Дегустация воды.
Дегустация воды, блядь.
Что мы пьем?
Что пьем, когда у нас работает, блядь.
The homicide rate among Russian soldiers returning from Ukraine has seen a dramatic surge. Putin is playing with fire and witnessing the consequences. In recent years, there has been a significant increase in the number of Russian soldiers convicted of murder after returning from the front line. In 2023, 113 active servicemen were convicted, representing an almost 900% rise from the 13 convictions in 2022. The surge in convictions among Russian soldiers returning from the front line is attributed by the UK MOD to chronic mental health issues related to war and the release of thousands of ex-convicts who were pardoned for their involvement in the conflict. Contributing factors such as post-traumatic stress disorder, alcoholism, drug use, and the return of ex-convicts with a predisposition for criminal behavior and extreme violence have been identified. It's no surprise that this situation is unfolding, and it's likely to deteriorate further for Russia. The country is treading dangerous ground, and the consequences are becoming evident. Russian soldiers of the Second Army of the World use primitive methods to get drinking water in the Kharkiv direction. There is no supply provision, commanders treat soldiers as expendable, and the latter remain silent and content with water from muddy puddles and condensate.
Я снимаю. Дегустация воды.
Дегустация воды, блядь.
Что мы пьем?
Что пьем, когда у нас работает, блядь. Вот, видно?
Да, видно. И то, короче,
На ваше здоровье.
вот это все набиралось часа 3.
Вкусно, приятно. Я также снабжение попрошу попить. Что я пил, вот как они идут. Вот. На свет даже. О!
Бля.
Вот я такую же наберу, пускай он попьет, блядь. Залпом, блядь. А мы пьем это все на 11 человек, блядь.
Putin has failed to erase Ukraine off the map and subsume it into Russia. His plans have failed, says U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
On Ukraine, we were able to bring so many countries together, not just in Europe, but beyond, because countries recognized that there was an aggression not only against Ukraine, but against some of the foundational principles of the international system. And if we let that challenge go with impunity, then it was likely that would-be aggressors everywhere would take note, and we would have a world of more conflict, not less conflict. And having brought many countries together effectively, we helped the incredibly courageous Ukrainians repel the aggression. Now, it's an ongoing effort, an ongoing struggle, but the designs that Vladimir Putin had on Ukraine to begin with, to erase it from the map, to subsume it into Russia so that it no longer existed, that's failed. And we also have an alliance in Europe that's stronger, that's also larger than it was, and I think a plan to enable Ukraine to be a success over time, a strong country militarily, economically, democratically. In Asia, we have the most consequential and in many ways complicated relationship with China. It can't be defined in a bumper sticker, but we've approached it from a position of strength. The aspects where we're competitive, the aspects where we're cooperative, the aspects where we're contesting.
Tucker Carlson continues popularizing Russian ideology. He interviewed Dugin, one of the key Russian ideologists. Dugin is among the main inspirers of the war and genocide of Ukrainians. During the interview, Tucker Carlson was once more in a silent listener position, giving the Kremlin ideologist a chance to speak to a multi-million audience about Putin as a defender of traditional values. I urge all journalists, bloggers, and everyone who shares this interview to pay attention to context. Otherwise, that would just work to popularize Russian narratives.
When Putin insisted more and more on this traditional agenda, I would say, on the particularity and speciality of the Russian civilization as some special type of world vision that had and has now very little similarities with the progressist ideals. So I think that they have discovered, they have identified in Putin precisely what Putin is. So he is a kind of leader, political leader defending traditional values. So only recently, 1 year ago, Putin has made a decree of the political defense of traditional values. That was turning point, I would say. But observers from the progressive camp in the West, I think they have understood that from the beginning of his rule. Correct?
Russian Leet Zoo reported about sending peacocks to the front lines to brighten up the everyday life of the Russian soldiers and bring spiritual peace. They were sent as part of Russian Who Else But Us campaign. The posts, as well as photos and videos, were later deleted from the zoo's social media accounts.
Хотим выразить огромную благодарность Липецкому зоопарку за предоставленную вами гуманитарную помощь в виде этих замечательных прекрасных существ, павлинов. Сейчас на территории нашего лагеря идет стройка, но специально рожденный барьер, дабы увеличить пространство. Каждый из военнослужащих мог приходить и ловить какое-то духовное удовлетворение или даже просто подумать и понаблюдать за их красотой. Огромное вам спасибо.
Russia has attacked Odessa with an Iskander cluster missile. Preliminary assessment from Dmytro Pletenchuk, head of the Strategic Communications Center of the Southern Ukrainian Defense Forces. All details are being clarified. Preliminarily, it is an Iskander. Preliminarily, a Cluster 1. But until all the examinations are done, I will not say 100%. However, most of the holes on the walls had striking elements such as shrapnel, and the explosion was airborne, he said. A cluster ballistic missile on a large city during evening rush hour. That's Russia for you. A North Korean missile hit Kharkiv in January 2024. The UN could not independently identify from where the missile was launched, nor by whom. Report by Reuters.
Missile debris that landed in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv on January 2nd was from a North Korean ballistic missile. That's according to a report from United Nations sanctions monitors to a Security Council committee and seen by Reuters on Monday. This footage is from days after the January strike. At the time, the local prosecutor's office showed fragments of the missile to the media, suggesting they could have been from one supplied by North Korea. In the report, the monitors concluded that the debris was from a Hwasong 11 series missile and is in violation of the arms embargo on North Korea.
Chinese ship rams Philippine ship and then deliberately destroys its radar with a water cannon. China is no less imperialist and expansionist than Russia. Of course, our government only understands this when it is too late.
Sinisira nila yung mga kagamitan dito. Attention all crew. Tuloy. Pabor ka.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.